Over 110 years of legacy and history, 650 stores, and over $2 billion in revenue. And now, crypto at checkout with Flexa. Meet the Bealls CEO, Matt Beall. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to today?
I am Matt Beall, and I'm the CEO and chairman of Bealls Inc.
What does Bealls do?
We sell apparel primarily, so we're like a full line store. We've got apparel, we've got accessories, we've got home, we've got footwear, so toys. Pretty much everything that you can ask for out of a retailer.
So, we come from the crypto world. Crypto is, as an industry, we're like 10 years young.
Yep.
But you guys have been around for over 100 years. How does that even set you up for coming into the crypto industry? Because a lot of the older industries have not come to adopt crypto yet.
Yeah, I think that it's going to start to get adopted here, in the near term. I think that we're not too far away from that. So us as a retailer, it doesn't really matter, how old we are. We're attempting to be relevant, and we're attempting to be current, and stay ahead of the game in terms of technology. So I think it's coming. Crypto is what's coming, and we can either be prepared for it and ahead of it and understand what it is by having used it and having it installed it in our stores, or we can be behind the game. And for us, as a kind of a regional retailer, family business, we have to be more pioneering with this kind of stuff than other people, because we're just not as big as some of our competitors. When you look at Ross and TJ Maxx and Burlington, those are national public companies that are out there that can write a lot bigger orders than we can, do a lot of stuff that we can't do. So yeah, we try to be kind of first in terms of pioneering new stuff.
First mover.
Yeah.
I'm a big Marshalls guy where I'm from, so they're kind of everywhere. So when I saw, Bealls, there was kind of like an instant connection of like how important it is for these like to be in certain communities. So like, what was it for you guys, seeing crypto, seeing where it's headed, how you think it's going to help people take advantage of using crypto as a payment in the future? Maybe not now, but as it gets adopted here in the U.S.
Yeah. It's just a much more efficient and advanced form of technology, of payment for economically. We don't need the middlemen. We don't need the exchanges.
Visa,
we don't need
MasterCard.
it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
It's just completely obsolete. So that's what's going to help people. That's what's going to help the just normal people. That's what's going to help everybody. It's going to help the entire economy. The entire GDP gets more productive by taking out the people that are extracting a base layer from transactions.
Right.
And that's what's happening with the various intermediaries. Yeah.
When did you first get into crypto?
20 teens, so we're talking 2017, 2018 probably is kind of when I started to dive into it a bit more and try to understand it a little bit.
Are you the first in your family?
Yeah.
The generations, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, I just kind of got into it, trying to understand it and understand what all the hype was about. And, here we are.
You got an AMP shirt on.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
I didn't even know what AMP was, to be honest with you, prior to this partnership with Flexa. And so just kind of working with them and learning about them and the product that they're willing to, that they offer people. AMP is a huge part of that product offering, So for us, AMP is the collateral that powers the transactions with crypto. So obviously, it's a very important part of the whole equation. And for us, it's that collateral that allows for instantaneous transactions to occur.
Right.
So very, very important. And then there's not another coin out there like it, really.
So why did you choose AMP over the others? Have you ever been approached by any other payment infrastructure from the crypto space?
We chose AMP and we chose Flexa. This might be a good time for Karen actually to kind of jump in.
Asking Matt about the crypto adoption, how they got to this point, and why you guys decided to choose Flexa and AMP. But we have Karen, who is you want to introduce yourself?
Karen Beebe, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Bealls Inc.
So Karen, tell us why you guys decided to go with Flexa and AMP. There are a lot of payment infrastructure companies out there in the crypto space that are trying to get real adoption. Like this is real adoption. This is a 110-year-old company
Yes.
that has existing customers. And I'll tell you this, the thing about crypto, revenue is kind of a meme in crypto because most crypto companies do not have real revenue. Obviously you guys do. So I think it's very important for people to see that there are companies that are trying to adopt crypto, not just for the gambling or speculation, with the actual infrastructure. So why did you guys decide to go through with Flexa and AMP?
Well, I have to tell you that Matt said earlier that he had gotten into crypto in the late teens. He had pushed the technology team to say, how can we make crypto happen at the store? How can our guests actually pay in crypto? And when we went out there at the time, Flexa was really one of the companies that could make it happen.
Right.
So it wasn't like we had a great, there wasn't a lot of companies to choose from. So
2020, 2021.
Oh, this was that long ago. Okay, yeah,
2020,
makes sense.
2021. And so Flexa, it actually, I think the first time we were able to use Flexa connected into our registers was November of 2021. November of 2021.
Oh, so you guys have been using Flexa from before this partnership announcement.
So what's interesting is we didn't really tell a lot of people because it wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It was a specific app that you had to use, and you had to then, interact between the app and the register, and it was very difficult.
Right.
And so at the time, we continued to say, we got to figure out how to make this a better experience, and that's what Flexa was saying as well. They said they knew that they had to make it seamless, right? They had to make it seamless. So we had been working with them over the years, and of course, we had everything happened in 2021, 22,
Yeah, the
so
hype era. Yeah.
So you're really coming out of COVID, and you're also going into different technology times, and they had been working on what can we be doing. So we've been working with them in partnership, but very behind the scenes, kind of quiet about it. And in 2024, they had started to launch their wallet of allowing all wallets in the U.S., at least 300 wallets in the U.S. and 99 coins is how it's set up. And we knew that, okay, now that this is now the time that we need to start actually ensuring that our payment provider, our point of sale, and Flexa all work together. So now it's as easy as a transaction that opens up in your Flexa, comes up, allows you to choose your wallet, and then pay with whatever you want to pay with. And it's talking to our register and our payment provider.
So when he proposed this crypto idea in 2021, did you think he was crazy?
So
She still thinks I'm crazy.
Yes.
When has she not thought that I was
So
crazy?
I joined the company in 22.
Yeah.
And when I joined, I'm like, you take crypto? Are you kidding me? I mean, I've been in retail for many years in technology, and we weren't even really talking about it. And I was in leading retail companies, and we were not talking about it because we were still even talking about ensuring, how easy it is to do PayPal, and Venmo. And so how do we ensure that we can even get those up and running, and Apple Pay? And so it was not even something we talked about.
Yeah.
So Matt was so far ahead of getting the team pulled together. So now, come it's 2025, right? We're ready. And we're still even ahead of what other retailers are doing. But it's headed into the digital. It's headed into digital currency, into the future. So how do we make sure that we can do that now and take any kind of payment, or just, it's about the transaction for the guest and making it easy.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
it's
convenience. Convenience for the guest is a big thing. I mean, crypto's awesome, and love it and want to support it, and it can be a solution economically for this country and other countries. But at the end of the day, for us, we're retailers. We want to make sure that the guests can use whatever payment method they want to and get in and out of the store as quickly and as easily as possible. And convenience for them and ease of use for them, and it's going to provide the ability for them to, and for us to have the cheapest, most effective transaction possible, because you don't have the fees. You don't have the fees of the credit card companies charging you 3% just so they can give you 2% cash back on their credit card or whatever it is, so.
That's a big plus, really.
Yeah.
It's a big plus.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge monopoly on just basically allowing people to pay at your stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there used to be some you guys have maybe seen the friction of, maybe it was from checks to debit, maybe? Was there like maybe a similar friction there from the transition from when like people went from like, oh, I'm going to pay with check or just cash to using card all the time? Or was it pretty seamless for your stores?
There's always some bugs and some speed bumps, I mean, and even people not using checks anymore, like people paying with checks. A lot of people, snowbirds in Florida, still like to write checks, so taking away that ability and not having that ability to do that in stores is something that I know a lot of retailers have struggled with because they have guests that still like to. So there's always going to be challenges with how you pay and how you accept payments and how you do returns and everything in between. And we just have to make sure that we give the most options for people and that they have the ability to choose. And so when you walk up to that screen and you see the pin pad pop up and it has a list of like 20 different payment options, they're not clickable because when the guest goes to pay, it's just very, very seamless. Those disappear and you pay, but the amount of ways that you can pay now is extraordinary.
Right.
I mean, between credit, debit, Sezzle, crypto,
Apple Pay.
it's Apple Pay,
Yeah.
it's growing for sure.
And it's what's interesting is it seems like online there's more payment options, but when you go to retailers in the store, they don't give you as many options, and we're trying to ensure that we're providing options just in store and online. So we're trying to keep those consistent.
I find it really fascinating because one thing that's interesting is I studied retailing in college. Like my degree was retail and consumer sciences. Actually, Ross was a big hirer from our school. I went to University of Arizona.
Okay.
So like there was a retail program and we worked with certain like Macy's and so on to get people in retail. I ended up not working in retail after school, but I did in college. I worked at Apple. And there was a huge push when I was there for Apple Pay. And like everywhere else but America used basically tap to pay at the time, or at least had a chip. I remember at this time, this was like 2017, the chip was still new and a lot of people didn't do it, they just inserted it. So where do you guys think from that psychology, because this is my only reference point, I didn't get to really see like the adoption of credit cards and debit cards. They were pretty much all around when I grew up. For crypto payments, like what timeline do you guys see where this is actual everyday use? You guys, I mean, I believe you guys are early, which is great. There's several things that need to get done in the US. They have the Clarity Act that they're trying to pass sometime next year for the stable coins. Where do you guys think that in the next like few years, this actually starts to get used?
Yeah, it's going to be on the slower end. I think people like when you look back 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you would have thought that by now it would have been more adopted than it is now. I think everybody kind of probably agrees with that. But a lot of that is because there hasn't been clarity. There hasn't been like the regulation and the rules that make it clear how to operate. And so that is coming. And after that comes, you could see things really start to take off. I mean, you could start to see, because nobody's as crazy as we are. Nobody's going to get into this without
Rules.
Yeah, without rules.
I mean, when you guys have as much revenue as you do, like you got to make sure that everything is
kosher.
kosher.
That it's done right. And so that's the question. Like, okay, is it legal to accept crypto? Yes, we can do it. Can we make it work? I'm talking with teams. Yes, absolutely, no problem. So check. Why wouldn't we do it? Well, there's no reason not to do it. That's kind of how the conversations go. So yes, more convenience for the guest. Yes, it is going to be the future. So yes, let's do it. Let's accept it. Let's adopt it. So yeah, I mean, for us, that's kind of as simple as the conversation gets, and as simple as it was, and then from there, it's okay. So what's going to happen with the rest of the crypto industry? I think kind of getting back to your question, and I think a lot of that depends on what happens from an economic standpoint too. I mean, with the dollar and the debasement of the currency, and kind of if we do get into some kind of a recession and there is unemployment, maybe AI creates some unemployment. You could see certain economic situations that could speed things up. You could see, some downturns that could cause runs on bank money, and then which we saw in 2008, and which we saw, of course, in 1929. If that starts to happen again, and there's a banking crisis, and everybody tries to get their cash from the banks, and then it's like, well, there's no money there because banks are a Ponzi scheme, essentially, right? So when that happens, those types of events could speed up the adoption of assets like crypto, and like even different currencies could get more. Could be accepted more, and could be thought of more, I think, just as safe places to hold assets and to hold value, because maybe if some other places like banks or like exchanges showed to be not as safe again, then crypto is like the place that people go. It's the place that the money flows to, and it wasn't there in '08. That's why it was created, because of the '08 banking crisis. It wasn't there in '08 for all of these new dollars that are being printed to kind of stick to and to increase the value of cryptocurrency in total. But now it's there, and so now Americans have the option, and they see this currency that's being debased. They see an economy that is that's in trouble. And so what are my options? Where do I store my value? Well, gold has obviously always been the place to store value. But there's other options now. There's realistic options that are stores of value, that hold value. And I think especially after we get clarity, you could see people start rushing into digital assets and adopting digital assets. I think as digital wallets start to become more mainstream, and people understand what those are, and that I have full self-custody of my digital assets in a secure wallet and I'm the only person with the code. And if I have my assets on an exchange like Charles Schwab, then I don't really own those assets, but in my digital wallet I do. So I think as more and more people start to understand this, and start to understand that Schwab and others can set limits on what you can have, and how much they'll ship you, and how much you're allowed to transfer in, and how much you're allowed to transfer out, and none of that exists in this world of digital assets with self-custody wallets. So as more and more people start to understand the technology, understand what it does, and that it creates financial freedom, we can, I think adoption naturally starts to increase of cryptocurrency, and it starts to just increase in overall value. So it goes from a $4 trillion asset today, or 3.5 or whatever, to 15, to 30, to 100. I mean, when does it stop?
So now I understand what his crypto perspective is.
Yeah.
That's like the whole story right there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow, I love to dig in more to that when we sit down, because that's like, I think if we're able to show other retailers, other people in business, like this is the story. It affects your customers in the future. Like, look ahead, and that's what a lot of people missed in 2008, right? They weren't looking ahead to what could happen to my consumer base, and they got consumed.
Right.
You guys have been around for so long. You've seen these booms and busts
Right.
before.
Right.
So this is kind of you guys getting ahead of it, right?
Right. Yeah. When you're a 110-year-old business, you have to plan for future events. You know, like we're when you look at most of our competition, they are operated by people that are in positions that have been put into those positions for short periods of time to run the business. You know, and put into a CEO role for 4 years, 5 years. They really care about what the stockholders think about them and what decisions are going to keep them in their chair, you know, for the next several years. For us, whereas a family business, we don't have the stockholder pressure, we don't have the public company pressure, we don't have and we have people that are inside the company, operating the company with a long-term view of what success looks like. And so in the long term, crypto, it has to be bigger than it is today. If it's not, okay, that's, you know, whatever. It's you know, it's just, it makes no difference if crypto all of a sudden crashes or AI comes out and says, hey, here's a better version of a digital asset.
AI comes out and says it.
Yeah. Well, AGI.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
As soon as
It's crazy thought.
yeah, like it's going to be able to tell us, you know, what are all the secrets of physics and math and, you know, whatever it is. Like we're going to be able to plug that into our phone and get answers instantly. So if we ask AI 10 years from now, what's the best way that humans can use currency? What's the best type of currency that we should be using? Well, they might say it's crypto. I don't think they're going to say it's fiat, because every civilization that's ever used fiat in history has failed. So maybe they'll invent something on the spot. Maybe AI will invent something on the spot that takes the place of cryptocurrency and the blockchain. You know, maybe ultimately the blockchain gets cracked by quantum computing or something, and so AI comes out and says, look, it's not the blockchain, it's not digital currency, it's this, whatever this is what you guys should be valuing and trading in terms of, you know, this is where you should be keeping the value of your assets. So until that happens, I think we got to go with what is the best technology today, and that's cryptocurrency. Yeah.
Wow. It's great seeing the store. Great getting to talk about some of the things you guys have done to adopt crypto. We learned maybe why you did. I'd love to dig more into that, how we did it. Where are we right now? I mean, this is alone like a very unique office. It's probably a perfect picture we have behind you of just like, this is the family legacy left with Matt. Tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming the CEO. I got some from Ryan. It wasn't the typical like trustee just given the family wealth. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I started in 2004 with Bealls. And so I went to college, University of Florida, went to Ross and worked in Manhattan at their buying office for a couple of years, and then came back to Bealls and started working for us in 2004. So yeah, I spent about 15 years kind of working my way in and around the company and up throughout the company. So 15 years from 2004 to 2019, and then became CEO in 2019, and have been doing that for the last 6 years.
So you were for a competitor first.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like some kind of espionage, or is it more just like you got to just do it yourself?
It was a rule in our business at the time. So if you wanted to come into the company and work in the company, then you needed to work at a competitor. So
I like that.
Yeah, it was my grandfather's rule. He's the guy in the middle. So
good rule, grandfather.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good way to just make sure that if you're coming into the business, you're taking it seriously.
Right. You got to actually interview somewhere, and they have to accept you for
exactly.
your genius.
Yep. Yeah, so that was smart.
So tell me this: when did you started in 2019? Had you already been dabbling in crypto? You bought any tokens at this time, like Bitcoin or anything?
It was probably about that time. Yeah, about that time that I started to get interested in it and start to buy some stuff. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Did you come in when you came into Bealls in 2019? What was the vision that you were trying to set as, like, you know, I'm the CEO now? What was it? Because like we can see it now, very tech forward. Yeah. Was that what you kind of led with?
I mean, there's a lot.
there's a lot to operating a business that's this big, that's been around for this long, that's in this segment of retail. There's a lot of things to think about and to plan for. And yeah, I think, innovation is something that we always want to be doing our best to be at the forefront of. We want to, whenever we can. We're a lean organization, and so we're a family business. We're regional retailer. We're just not as big as a lot of our competitors are out there, like Ross, like TJ Maxx. So yeah, we have to be first in a lot of cases. We've got to have that mentality that we're going to be first, and we're going to take some risks, and we're going to take some calculated risks, and attempt to, while we can't necessarily write as big of orders or have the economies of scale as some of our competitors, we can do some things like be innovative. And I can set an example as a CEO for the rest of the company that, hey, you guys, it's okay to take chances. It's okay to make some mistakes. Like, we are going to make mistakes, unquestionably, undeniably, and this might be one, and that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take this risk and do this. And in part, A, we got to try stuff. B, we got to shake things up. I think if you're in retail and you're doing the same thing you were doing yesterday or last year, you're falling behind. That's kind of retail moves that quickly. It seems like like a legacy, slow bunch of whales, but in reality, you're constantly. Karen will tell you from a technological standpoint, you're constantly challenging yourself, constantly trying to just keep up with all the change that's occurring around you.
Yeah, I feel like maybe people do see it that way, where it's like an old business, retail in general. But like I said, I literally studied retail, and I saw during this time was the Amazon come up, and everyone is like transition to on. This was during the full transition to online, and now we've brought back like the in-store experience and whatnot. I actually prefer almost shopping in a store now, because like when I go online, half the time I don't even know if I like it or not. But just goes to say, so Karen said something earlier, that the part of the vision that you're setting and the things you guys are doing is, you guys have been around for 110 years. You're going to be around for 220 years. What are some of the things you've seen him do besides the crypto decision to help set up Bealls for that future?
A lot of it came back to connection with people, and just our entire team, and not just the company connection and our associates. Definitely started there first, but also connecting to our guests. So how do we do that? And so Matt's done things regarding just even getting the podcast up and running and talking about legacy, really talking about what do we do here and how we operate. And then allowing that to even get into a broader spectrum of podcast things that you do on Limitless. So it's really getting us so that we're talking with each other, and also in a common language. So probably one of the most impactful things is we have our practices. Some people have had company values, and it's the term values means a lot of things to different people, right? And so instead of using that term of values, and sometimes you have what a company is about, but you don't even know or remember what they are saying. And meaning, just like you have certain sentences that people start to memorize when you're in corporate. It's like, this is what we're about. These are our values. And if you went and asked every associate, they'd be, I don't even remember them. They may be written in a wall somewhere. But what Matt's done, and really through a journey of taking us as a leadership team and all the way through to our associates, is about connection and the practices of connecting and being authentic and being accepting and being compassionate and being open, transparent. And there's more, but it's so much different than any place I've ever been before. Any place. And it starts there. And so that very forward thinking of getting us in the same way of communicating and connecting, and then things flow from there. And I'll let you explain it a little bit better, but I think that's been probably for me the most impactful. And every day isn't like Matt has a new challenge in technology. So, and we're on the forefront of, and we've done a lot regarding AI and continue to put that within our company. And that's not a, hey, here's our AI strategy over here. It is our business strategy. AI is embedded in our business strategy. But if we're not communicating and able to talk with each other and get ourselves connected in such a way that we can move the whole company forward, then that's where it can break apart really quick, especially when you're trying to introduce change. You're introducing a lot of change, a lot of new technology, and just having that same type of, I'm going to keep using the term connection, you work it together. And that to me has been the most unique, and you feel it here. It's different. It's way different.
Where do you think this comes from? Your ability to build the connection, setting a vision, but then also it being very forward. Because you tell, there's these sayings in crypto, like if, like you talk to your grandparents about crypto at Thanksgiving dinner and stuff like that. If grandma says, should I buy Bitcoin? Then you probably should sell. But anyways, like it just goes to say, like, people, I think, especially in America, are not as forward at other places. Crypto's very global. Currency issues and stuff like that are much more apparent. Obviously, we talked about it. It's happening now in the U.S. But the adoption in other places has happened a lot faster, I think, because of that, because it's a necessity. So where do you think that you being able to tie your personal passion for crypto and understanding and then setting the vision for the company, where do you think that comes from? Is it from leadership skills you learned from the past? Is it something that you built your own, working, at competitors, spying on them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just you kind of just, I mean, leading a business, you just kind of try to make decisions that you feel like are the right decisions to make, So I don't know in terms of where anything comes from. It's just life just kind of manifests through people, and then it's our job to take on the challenges and the responsibilities that we have. So I've got one to operate this business and to make sure that it sustains itself and that it's as healthy as it possibly can be well into the distant future, and that's what I'm attempting to do. That's my role and responsibility now of making the company as healthy as we possibly can be. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a couple of things, but maybe the biggest thing that we did in the last 5 years was really the rebrand, which was kind of, as you were coming on board. But we went and we changed the name of all 650 of our store locations. So where we had Beall's Outlet and Burke's Outlet, if you're familiar with the name Burke's Outlet, we used to call our stores Beall's Outlet and Burke's Outlet, and there's a long story for why we did that. But we went through the process of rebranding all of our stores, and we dropped the outlet and we dropped Burke's. And so now we're just known as Beall's across our entire 600 store chain that used to be the quote-unquote outlet chain. We're just Beall's now. So that was, I think, a major change. And then we had a legacy department store that was about 65 stores, and we've changed the name of that chain to Beall's Florida. And so we have Beall's and we have Beall's Florida. And so that was, I think, a big deal. We've got to really position ourselves for what the future looks like, and what we're attempting to do is elevate ourselves. And so we're elevating our brands that exist within the store, and we're elevating the brand of Beall's that we are. And so with the name outlet, we just felt like it was kind of cheap. It just kind of pointed towards, seconds or closeouts or, whatever it might be, whatever you might pick up in the open market or transfers or whatever. And that's not how we buy. It's not, we were an outlet, but we don't buy like that. We're buying, for the most part, upfront goods. We're buying all branded goods, you know, just the same as a Ross would do or a TJ Maxx would do, or even a Kohl's or a Macy's would do. So we felt like outlet was a misnomer, so we dropped that, and we are attempting to elevate the in-store experience with better brands and the total store experience and the total store brand. And you know, crypto is a part of that. Crypto is a part of our desire to have people realize and know that we are a place where you can come and outfit your entire family with incredible brands, and you can do it at affordable prices. And so when you look at kind of who Bealls has been and what we've looked like historically to the customer, it's kind of been, because we've grown up in Florida and because Florida is such a retiree community, we've kind of been looked at as a retiree store. But when you go in and you look at our stores today, I mean, it's not retirees shopping, it's young people, it's families, there's young brands. You got Nike, you've got Hurley, you've got Adidas, you know, you've got all of these great brands. And so it's another reason where it's like, you know, wake up, America. We're here. You know, we've got all these great brands. We've got all these great. We've got a great store. We're not a retiree store. And I think just reaching out and connecting with the crypto community and being like, yeah, you know, we're here. We're an option for you. You know, I, you know, totally believe in crypto and the future of crypto. And I feel like just connecting with some different markets, some younger people, some people that can kind of look at Bealls and say, hey, this is a cool company. This is like, it's not my grandmother's company. This like we're actually relevant, and we've got great brands. We're young. We've got, you know, great staff, great service. So I think, you know, there's also a business reason to do it, and that is convenience from the guest. You know, they want to be able to shop when they want, how they want, and pay with what they want, and so we're offering that. And yeah.
You said, we basically said this: we outfit the family for less, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's been there the entire time.
That has been the motto since like 1930, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Was there something that, like, as the leadership roles have been passed down, like something that's as sticky as that they tell you, like, is there like a one-liner, like,
Yeah.
don't fuck this up,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
like, or
yeah,
something.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. So we say that all the time. No, I mean, when you look at that as being like our motto, you know, it's been our slogan since 1930. So going on 100 years, it's like crazy that it's lasted that long. And so that's cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still out there doing the same thing. And when you get away from that, when you get away from what our motto is, which is family and value, like we're providing value to families, great brands, great product, great value, for less money. That's where we are successful. When we try to get out and do higher end boutique business or department store business, and we're kind of elevating higher markup, and we're doing these different store models. Historically, I mean, we see what we're left with today. We're left with now 650 stores that are value-oriented chains. And so it really just kind of speaks to the truth of who we are and our DNA and kind of us as a retailer. Like, we are value. That's where we need to be, and that's where we have success. So yeah, it's pretty cool that some things, like as much change is involved in retail, and as much as we're constantly, accepting change and attempting to lead through change and promote change, and everything's about change. There are some things that you want to hold on to as well, and some things never change. And like great customer service is one of those things that's never going to change. Outfitting the family for less is one of those things that's never going to change.
Reminds me of like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Just don't mess with it.
Yeah.
It's going to keep doing its thing,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. I really, like, for me, it's rare to see businesses, especially like consumer facing ones, that have stuck to like what they've done for so long and have succeeded through the cycles. And I'm sure that's why you guys have stuck around. But one thing I want to touch on too, we talked a little bit about your perspective is why crypto could be important for the future, which I think it's great, but maybe not everyone else has the same opinion or understands it this way of like this new paradigm where we're like in this K-shaped economy where you have essentially everyone is accelerating this way that's in the top whatever 1%, and then the bottom middle is gone, and you just have the like everyone just kind of going down because we're affected by inflation the worst, right?
Yep.
Don't own assets. So where do you see this coming into play in the vision of the business and crypto adoption? You know, maybe that's 10, 20 years from now from Bealls, but you also said it's not just about the payments, right? Maybe you can give us some alpha as to like what this looks like in the future from now.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what it looks like in the future, things always evolve to the least complicated model. They always evolve to the most simple thing where, someone can just walk up and, wave a magic wand and take their product or service and be gone. And, things evolve to automatic payments. Things evolve to same-day shipping. Things evolve to retina scanning and looking at your eye, and then it's the transaction is over. So, I mean, just from a technology standpoint, that's where things always go. And so, when you look at middlemen, when you look at people like unnecessary middlemen, people like the Visa, MasterCard, or whatever it is, if you're getting a loan from a bank, we're past that. Like, we don't need that technology. We don't need those middle people anymore to allow us to pay for stuff or to borrow money.
To use our money, right?
We can use our own. Yeah. So, so yeah, that is where things are going to evolve. And if Visa, MasterCard are smart, I mean, maybe they're thinking about like, how do I evolve in this next environment? If it's hired external leaders who are just care about the next 5 years and they care about their job, then it's going to be a different strategy from the people at the top of that business than if you have somebody internally who's invested in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years of that company. And so if they are interested in their long-term future, they've got to be thinking about a solution like what Flexa offers, right? I mean, they've got to be thinking, well, how can we be that solution for America in a decade? And does that mean acquiring Flexa? Does it mean creating their own token? Does it mean what does that mean for them? But they're not just going to sit there and just be taken over by David, their Goliath. They're not just going to let it happen. So how are they going to survive? How are the banks going to survive? What are they going to be getting themselves into so that they can remain a relevant part of the economy going forward?
How have you guys seen through your business too, seen the economy like transform over the last couple of years, and where do you think it could be headed?
It's really been interesting to watch for sure since COVID began. Kind of like I took over 2019 December, right when COVID was announced, and then it was like by March.
They're just here.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're shutting down all of your stores. So we shut down every one of our stores for 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, right after I took over, and it was like, it's brutal. You're running out of money. We were to the point where we had to borrow money from the bank, which we try not to do. We try to operate on just a pure cash position, on our cash, and fund our seasonal purchases and whatnot, and pay our people without going into debt. But we had to because our stores were closed, so we have no sales coming in, but we're still paying our people. We didn't want to, lay off all of our people and then hire them, go through that process of hiring them back whenever the time came. We wanted to keep employing people. So, yeah, it was a very, very difficult time to go through in COVID for sure. We got out of that. There was a tremendous amount of stimulus, and then, of course, free liquidity. You see what happens with assets, and crypto rolling, and we're about to enter into another period where quantitative easing is is over, right? And so or quantitative tightening is over, and so now there's some additional liquidity coming in, so that should be interesting. But yeah, it has been when all the free money came, it was some of the best years that we've ever had. So after COVID, it was some of the best years that we've ever had. So theft within our store went to basically zero, and sales started to really go off the charts. And that was because everybody had money. Everybody had free money in their pockets. And so because of all the stimulus money that was out there. So there were a couple of really, really good years for us. And since then, the money supply has kind of been tightening, and things have been getting, just kind of stabilizing, basically. We've had the last 5 years have been the best 5 years in our history. So when you look at just that 5-year block, it's the best 5 years that we've ever had. And so I feel like a lot of that is where we are in retail. I mean, off-price is a really good place to be. We have great brands. We have great value. There's no reason to shop at a department store anymore. They're just overpriced. So we are where everybody is heading. We're where people are transferring down to. But there's so many guests that are already in that segment of retail that it's just I feel like that's a big part of our success, is being in off-price. And certainly the last 5 years have been good for off-price, and it's been good for retail. It's been good for Bealls. So it's one of those things where, like, you think that everybody's failing. You see all these bankruptcies. You see all these people going out of business in retail. You see everybody struggling, but you don't see that in this off-price world. You don't see that with the Burlingtons. You don't see it with Ross. You don't see it with TJ Maxx or Marshalls.
Busier than ever.
Yeah. Those places are busier than ever, for sure. Yeah, and so that's
today. I mean, the store, was it
yeah
noon?
Yeah, we're
slammed. During the week. There's the line the whole time.
Right. Yeah, we're slammed. Yeah. So yeah, people are still out there shopping in brick and mortar retail, for sure. They still enjoy it, and it's because you can't get the value on Amazon, or you can't get it on the internet. Like you're not getting a Nike T-shirt for $9.99 or whatever, $7.99 for kids. Like, you're not getting that online. You're only finding that in off-price right now. So that's why they're winning.
It's fascinating business to be a part of.
Yeah.
Did you think this was going to happen March 2020?
I have no idea.
Have you ever just looked back and been like, "Wow, that was crazy"?
Yes.
How did we get here?
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. Retail is not for you need to have strong inner ability to kind of process and hold your food down if you're going to be in retail, because it's not for everybody. It's very, very difficult. Yeah, for sure. So in 2020, who knows, man? I didn't know where we were going to be.
But in 2020, when you have that kind of crisis that happens, you try to never let a good crisis go to waste, right? And what's interesting is think about how much technology changes that happened because we were forced to make those changes. Everyone went remote. Everyone now knows how to do Teams and work remotely. You had systems that you changed over so quickly. You're forced. Now everyone's doing QR codes. Now everyone's doing, you're almost forced into that digital world because of that. And so it really, what's the next thing that's going to do that for us?
Yeah, you might know on your podcast, you might be able to tell us what's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of AI, right?
Something's coming.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot that's coming. And which one of it's going to get us? That's kind of the only question, right?
What do you think are the biggest headwinds?
Headwinds to what? To retail, to civilization, to.
Hey, if all the retail collapses, something's bad.
Something bad is going
people
on.
always are going to buy stuff.
No doubt. Yeah, the dollar is in very tough shape if that happens. So, yeah. Yeah, but it's also like, I mean, like Karen mentioned, it's also can be a huge opportunity. So COVID was a time when we were able to actually go in and open 150 new stores and acquire a new distribution center out in Texas. So if you went into that event with debt, and a lot of retailers went into COVID with debt, it's very hard to get out of because people had to draw money. So if you're compounding that with more debt, then you're in trouble. So but Stage Stores out of Texas went out of business during COVID, and so they had about 800 stores, and they were all in that same range that we have stores in, so 20 to 30,000 feet. And so we were able to open about 200 of their 800 stores back
Oh, wow.
as in our brand, and acquire their distribution center. So yeah, when Karen talks about opportunities, that's kind of when we look back at COVID and what was happening then, that was a huge event in our company's history, and it allowed us to really grow kind of, not overnight, but within a year we'd added
Pretty fast.
another 30% to our total store base.
So it seems like a lot of the stuff you probably talk about with your guests on the Limitless podcast, right?
Yeah.
Probably helps you get some information of like what could be something challenging for our business in the future, right? I mean, each one of these guys went through different crises, right? Or even further back, the Great Depression. So like you guys, is this kind of just worked into the DNA? Like, look, just don't over leverage yourself when things are getting good. Keep the cash going. And then the next crises, there's an opportunity for us around the corner. Is that kind of like the mindset?
That's it. Yeah, it's like the Warren Buffett mindset, right? Like,
Value. You kept saying value.
Yeah. We buy opportunistically. That's kind of the thing. Yeah, and the Great Depression in 1929 with RM Senior over there on the far left. He went through that and lost the business to the banks completely. I mean, for like 12 years. So yeah, I mean, kind of since then, it's been in our DNA to be conservative from a cash standpoint and to have enough cash to not get over leveraged, because he had a little bit of leverage back then, and it was enough that he wasn't able to get out of it.
He ended up getting the business back, though.
He
right?
got the business back, yeah, after 12 years. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's an amazing story.
it's incredible. And if that didn't happen, are we here today? If all of the little individual things didn't happen, are we here today? So
yeah. The history. I'm excited when we're gonna get a little walkthrough of
cool.
everything. But wow, I mean, like for me growing up, my biggest memory of a crisis, like COVID was pretty bad. It was bad. But 2008, like I remember there was Mervin's gone. It was like Circuit City gone. There was a lot of retailers. I can't remember, that was maybe adjacent to Sears.
Yep.
This is more recent.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
all of these older brands just
Thousands of brands are
stores, just giant stores that you used to go to as a kid, just gone.
Yep. Toys R Us.
Toys R Us, there's another one.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, they've just been going out of business left and right since 2007, 2008, really, since the banking crisis.
So what do you think is, if you had a hunch, what the thing is that causes this next turnover?
The downturn? I would say that if there is whatever the next downturn is, it's probably going to be unemployment based. I think there's probably going to be an uptick to unemployment, and probably caused by AI removing jobs from the job market. So it'll start with computer jobs and desk jobs, and that's already starting to happen now with desk jobs being taken out of. But then it'll move to robotics combined with AI will start to take over. And so then you're talking about workers, factory workers, you're talking about plumbers and janitors. I mean, you're talking like AI could have a significant disruption to to the job market. And then, when something fails, whether it's banking or whatever, usually it's banking because, fear in 2008, it was banking and everybody rushed to the banks to get their money. Well, the banks didn't have the money, so they had to be bailed out, and, all this liquidity had to be created to save the banks that they wanted to save. So I could see something like that happen. I mean, the dollar is definitely a problem, and uh, the national debt is definitely a problem. Where if that continues, and it is going to continue, then how do we get out of that? It's really debasement of the currency has been the only strategy that's worked and that's been used for 100+ years. Is just printing more money and debasing the currency and decreasing the real value of the debt. That's kind of the strategy that's always been used, and so that's good for crypto, of course. That's long term. The value of the dollar continues to erode, and all these people are on the hamster wheel attempting to make money and stay on the hamster wheel. And you've got these assets like gold and Bitcoin, and that are just shooting up. It's not as part of it is, yes, fear, people rushing into it, but part of it is just the debasement of the currency, and they're holding their value while the currency's being debased, so they rise. So yeah, I guess there's all of that. I don't even where did we even start this question?
What do you think could cause the next
the
downturn?
next downturn. Yeah. So I mean, it's the dollar. It's that. It could be commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is definitely in a bit of a bubble. So, I mean, it's the highest it's ever been. Occupancy rates are the highest they've ever been. But with, like, who's occupying these buildings? I mean, retail is, of course, struggling outside of off price. Restaurants are doing fine. But if you have some kind of joblessness start to creep up, then you could see fear, overtaking, commercial real estate, and beginning to kind of tank that. Housing, potentially, you could see some residential housing issues start to creep into the economy again. So those would be probably the top contenders, I would think.
The housing one's interesting. It's like no young person owns a home already, so what's going to happen after that?
Yeah, right.
Maybe they'll be able to scoop them up.
Right. Yeah, housing, I mean, if they can keep us out of a recession, then housing will be fine. They'll just keep devaluing the currency, and then the land and houses will hold their value.
Buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Buy gold, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, gold's so high.
Yeah, all-time highs. And
yeah. But Bitcoin has not kept up.
Yeah, what is your perspective on that in the crypto markets? Like, it seems that even versus stocks, like the S&P is up pretty much. I mean, now the Bitcoin is flat on the year.
Yeah.
Where do you think that? I know you mentioned quantitative easing is coming. Where do you think that, like, crypto the next couple of years?
So I'm not a financial advisor.
NFA.
Right. But I mean, I've never seen a period of time where there was such a disconnect between the price of crypto and the adoption that's taking place of crypto. I mean, it's like such a divergence. Anytime you've seen adoption like this take place, the price has usually gone up, and the price recently seems to not really be connected to that so much as it is connected to maybe this conversation about a fear of a bubble within stocks, or within the AI segment of stocks, and it seems like maybe crypto is taking some of the brunt of that fear related to the stock market being up in technology. The crypto is suffering for that, but I think it's just a time to buy it, honestly, because I mean, you buy the dips. The liquidity is coming. I mean, anytime that liquidity is being pumped into the system, that's always historically been a good time for crypto. So that's happening now. So yeah, I mean, it feels like as we head into 2026, and then you talk about getting the clarity, in the Senate. So yeah, look, it's not for the faint of heart, obviously. Owning crypto, big swings can be down 50%, but you got to think that by the end of 2026, your crypto is higher. If it's not, then gosh, there's
Something else.
some major, then it's a real buying opportunity, and there's some major economic downturn happening. Yeah.
Which you guys are prepared for.
Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah, we got enough liquidity to get us through. Hopefully. You say that, but gosh,
You never know how.
you never. I mean, what if it's a virus? They shut you down for 6 months. Then nobody's getting through that. So.
I hope that doesn't happen. People are not going to
Yeah.
deal with that again.
Right.
So if you guys had kind of like to wrap this part up, like other retailers, why do they need to start adopting crypto? Like let's help Flexa out here a little bit. They have a prospect they're talking to right now. Why do they need to adopt crypto payments?
Yeah. It's like why wouldn't you? I mean, the only reason not to is fear of like stepping out or doing something where you don't want to be first. I want to be second. I want to. So I mean, fear is like the only reason. So somebody could say, "I told you so," and then you lose your job. I mean, that's literally the only reason not to adopt crypto. There's no risk. I mean, when you accept crypto, your crypto is converted to cash immediately. So from a retailer standpoint, there's no risk in accepting crypto. You can set it up so that you can hold your crypto, which we're doing in some cases with some coins. But yeah, I mean, it's the risk of falling behind. It's the risk of not dabbling in a technology that is going to likely be a bigger part of the future than it is of the present. It's not understanding that. It's falling behind that. It's sending a message to your shareholders that you're weak and that you're not willing to be a pioneer or take chances or take risks on new technology or new ways of the future. You want your customers to be able to pay in any way that they can, whenever they can, however they want to. Everybody wants that. There's no retailers just want payment. It doesn't matter how it comes. So yeah, it would just be fear holding people back. And but I see once somebody does it, there's going to be others that jump on board. This is an industry of copycats. I mean, there's no question that there's going to be a lot of people jumping on board and doing the same thing now that they've seen one person do it, and there hasn't been this negative media response to it.
Right.
It's been
Generally positive.
It's been very positive and very well supported. And so as other retailers see that and they see that positive, they're going to want that. They're going to want to get a piece of that. So, I think it's coming. I think it's more adoption is coming.
And Flexa, actually having a partner like Flexa made it easy.
Yeah.
I mean, they made it easy. So you're taking some risk, right? And you're doing the integration part of it with Flexa, but they're handling a lot of the complication pieces that we didn't have to build in. And so they made it easy.
Yeah. Yep.
Who do we want to get crypto payments next?
Oh, who do we want to get crypto payments next?
To follow you.
Oh gosh. I mean, let's go. Let's get it over with, right? All the big guys. I mean, yeah. I mean, let's go, man. Let's go. What are we waiting for, right?
Name drop them.
Name drop them? Oh God.
They can call.
They can call. Call if you need some help.
I mean, when you're looking at Flexa, give that interview with you guys, they're saying it's everybody, right? It's like it's all the big guys.
Yeah, they did
just,
say
just
Danny
name the
did say
big
that.
guys. It's them. It's like
You know them, right?
yeah,
That's
you
what
know-
Danny said. You
yeah,
know them.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So I mean, if that's what's coming, then we're very close to seeing a significant amount of adoption, and I mean he's not lying about that. I mean it's I think that this is the better tech. It's the superior tech. Retailers know that. Flexa knows that. So it's just a matter of time. And I think it's just, people wanting clarity from a regulation standpoint, and that's reasonable. I mean, I think that's fair and fine. At some point, you're either going to wait for that to happen, and then we're waiting on the government, or you're just going to step into the ring and figure it out yourself until you get complete clarity. And so that's what we've chosen to do. But yeah, I mean, you got to think that the larger public companies are going to be jumping on board in 2026. Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna get some history now of Bealls, but see the bell?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about this bell?
That was just something random. That was just a very random purchase that I made in New Orleans back with my wife, maybe 2019 probably. And it was in a antique shop, and it was on an old boat, and it just looked exactly like our bell. So
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Thought I was like, oh, this was here 100 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I think
But it's actually older than the company, right?
It is, yeah. That's probably 200 years old or more. Yeah. So it just belonged on some boat from who knows where, New Orleans, I guess. But,
And you know how you had said earlier, and you used to, even how you see it, you thought it was pronounced Bealls, right? But it's really Bealls, and it's so really bringing the bell into our logos.
Yeah, smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's us. I mean, yeah, we've 1915, been around. Four generations of family leadership now. So just fortunate to have a great family, a great support system. Fortunate to have grown up in the state of Florida because as Florida's grown, we've been able to grow over the last 100 years, and we're in 23 states now, 650 stores, 23 states, 15,000 employees, and so good growth, good healthy business, good business model, great group of guests and people that shop us, very supportive, very loyal, and we're just enjoying being a part of retail in America and attempting to make our own mark and do our own things in a slightly different way than some of the national guys out there.
Come on down to California.
Yeah.
We could use some more value stores out there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate this. Let's go get a little walkthrough of what's going on.
Perfect.
Learn about the history. Some of these.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's do it.
Walking into Bealls felt like stepping into a time machine. They had their history decorated all over the walls. A business with 4 generations of leaders that come from the same family: sons, fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers. Over 115 years, I mean, they lost the business in the Great Depression, and the great-grandfather got it back. And you see a fully modernized business with automated workflows in the back of house, with security, to the now CEO, Matt Beall, having his own full podcast where he's talking about anything from aliens to the next biopharmaceutical innovation. It's amazing to see how far we've come and how crypto is a part of this story.